The Washington Commanders may have just found Dan Quinn's next defensive monster. Because if Sonny Styles is really this big, this fast, and this dangerous at only 21 years old, Washington's defense could become a nightmare the entire NFC never saw coming.
Who was your biggest winner of round one?
Oh, I had 3 winners.
Oh, 3? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm going with Washington with Sonny Styles.
Yeah,
I thought that was a perfect fit in the fact that they were able to sit there and get him. Loved.
Congrats, Sonny! Everybody says glowing things about Sonny Styles, and he dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, that is.
This is a big draft for them. I mean, they're a couple years removed off going to the NFC Championship. You really think, hey, this team's really going somewhere. They kind of shit the bed last year. Obviously, injuries are part of that. But you mentioned it. A lot of people have mentioned it. This is exactly the guy that Dan Quinn wants to get into the building, get his hands on, kind of mold him into the next, franchise linebacker for the Commanders. I love this pick.
All right, so now the Washington Commanders bring Sonny Styles in. AJ, the Buckeyes.
Here we go.
Ryan Day's having a big night of recruiting. A big night ahead. You come to Columbus. You're a top 10 pick. Good for you guys as it continues to cook. Sonny Styles, I know you're a big fan of his.
Oh, I've been watching Sonny play since he was in high school. I watched him beat my high stuff. I think he jumped over a few kids in that game. But watch him. If you watch all these clips of Sonny, obviously the physical tools are there. Not many people have the physical tools he has. But look at his eyes, his discipline, everything about him. Tony even said he only missed 1 tackle all year. So to get a sure tackler that's also freakishly athletic and so sudden and has a burst to him, I mean, it's no-brainer.
That's another rare combination, too. Just kind of how that Jeremiah Love, when you talk about that speed, explosiveness, and being able to take care of the ball, the fundamental stuff, having a combination with a linebacker like that who is going to be your most athletic player in the building, and then also being fundamentally sound.
And he's mean as hell, remember? Yeah, we've talked about this, like he got a hair trigger, as they say at times, which is
he's
a great
thumper.
thing.
Toes that line.
Yes.
Yeah, Coach Carr, you think he would have been a good Coach Carr guy?
Sonny Styles?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I mean, this is a guy, getting a guy that can operate your defense and make the adjustments, which he did for Matt Patricia. I mean, he would actually just make adjustments on the field. I mean, in his own mind as he saw a formation. So this guy is a general. He's a quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. He's a great pickup right for Dan.
All the high fives and everything kind of settled in, but we got Sonny Styles, and for I can't tell you how many reasons why we liked him, but it's you can go on and on about him, and we're thrilled to have him. And so to pick Sonny Styles with the 7th pick. Didn't think he was going to be there. Thought there was a low chance. There was a chance, but it was an easy pick when he was there and we were on the clock. So a little bit about Sonny. I think he's a true commander. He is a true commander through and through, and that's what makes one of the many things that makes you smile. And you're going to get an outstanding person in this building, an outstanding competitor. An outstanding football character, everything across the board. And so, first and foremost, a human, great family. I got to meet them at the pro day, and he's just kind of everything you want there as a football player and a guy in your building in your bloodstream. So, a little bit about Sonny as a player. I mean, he's huge. He's really it's just amazing. He's 21 years old. He's a young guy. He's just scratching the surface, but he's an elite athlete, elite size, elite length, and he's just scratching the surface as a linebacker. And he's already really good, and he's only going to get better. And that's what gave me a lot of confidence too, is that he's going to get better. And we have the people in this building with our coaching staff and the support staff to get him there. And then himself, he's the type of person who will reach whatever potential he has. He will reach that potential. He's humble. He's driven. He's just kind of checks every box. And so it made it an easy pick. We had a great visit with him on the 30 visit. Super impressive football intelligence, super impressive just presence, and just everything about him screamed commander. And so as a player, sideline to sideline, he can blitz, he can cover, He can play in the box. He got better as the year went on. He's only been playing linebacker for 2 years, and he got better and better, and he played his best ball at the end of the year. So he's still ascending, and it's fun to watch his progression and just seeing how much better he got and how much better he still can get. So everything across the board, coaches, scouts, R&D, everybody was you got the whole building's behind him, and so I kind of want to stay away from that, knowing how good Fred is and the person, but they're both elite people, and they're both guys that you want in your locker room for sure.
Given his versatility, kind of how do you guys envision using him?
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things because we have a really talented room, I think, and guys that are all very versatile. And we have a coaching staff that is really good about deploying those guys. And so, I mean, Sonny's a guy who can play off the ball, he can play on the ball, he can mug up and blitz. There's so many different things he can do. He can play Mike, play Will, play Sam. All those different things. He's got the size to play on the edge, and so he's really versatile. And so we can kind of mix and match and deploy those guys and play as many linebackers as we can on the field. And I'm excited to see what the guys will do with Durante and DQ and Ken and those guys. Like they're gonna be able to get really creative.
A two-part question, just to squeeze in another question. Did you have an opportunity to move down, and would you have taken it if he weren't still on the board? And then I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. It was kind of fun. We did a lot of work on the move down. We spent a lot of time on it. Brandon back there was with me, looking at all the different iterations of moving back and everything like that. We didn't look to move up, but crickets. It was crickets. So really, we were just looking at my phone. And nothing. So we were so happy. We were happy to stay and pick there.
Adam, at the league meetings, I asked you if you had already at that point known what guy you would want to get, all things being equal. When did you kind of lock in that Styles was a guy that you did want?
Yeah, it is this week, and it was really cool. We got a lot of great input from everybody in the building. The coaches did a great job. Our R&D and our scouting department asked a lot of different guys. All right, here, this group of players who are likely to be there, what's your order and why? And so I was able to get a ton of different perspectives. You get Brandon's perspective, which is different than a scout's perspective, which is different than R&D. So I really got to see, all the different sides of the decision, and that really helped crystallize the decision. And then making it, I'm just putting together tapes on all these guys, and you fall in love with a lot of them because they're all really, really good players. And there's a lot of really good players that got picked before us, and then some after. But Sonny, I felt really, really good about him, really throughout the process, but certainly, after the 30 visit, and then this week, kind of getting all that input.
And a stated goal for you guys going into the offseason was get younger, get faster. Seems like this one guy kind of epitomizes that. But is that combined with everything else you did with Oweh and Chase on all that? Is this really sort of the culmination? I'm sure you have more to do, but kind of the culmination of that.
Yeah, he definitely embodies that. And 21 years old, so he's still really young. Graduated high school early. Gosh, yeah, that blows my mind too. But and obviously, 4'4" guy at 6'5". We're really, really fast. He covers a lot of ground, so it's a big deal in this league.
Good evening, Adam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You're in a good mood. So when you look at the linebacker position group right now, and what were some of the areas you wanted to make sure you all got better at, and what do you think you've met that now?
Well, I think, looking at this, we wanted to just get the best player. We didn't want to draft for need, and so we wanted to get the best player. And we thought the best player that was staring us in the face was a linebacker. And so that room we feel great about. We felt good about it going in. Now we feel great about it, and I love the guys in that room already. They're competitive guys. They're really athletic. They're all guys that you want to have on your team. So it's just adding more competition, and that's really the theme of our program is competition. And I know those guys will all fight and create roles for themselves. But certainly, like, happy with the makeup of that room and the talent level now. We the first three were pretty. We thought that was pretty kind of on what we wanted. We thought that the receiver would have had, like, his ceiling was 4 and probably his floor was 9. And then with the Giants, just trying to whatever they did. And I didn't think a corner would go in front of us, but that's also because none of those teams would have taken them. But the trade, that was probably when that happened. We were just like, okay, we got this. And so so that was kind of the moment. But a little bit nervous, before that. But we felt really good with whoever was going to come to us, and we just got a little bonus.
In particular with Sonny, and to a lesser extent with Leo, their ability to kind of take guys up the seam and wheel routes and coverages and things like that. What are some of the things that now defensively you think, okay, these avenues are now going to be much harder for opponents to do to us than maybe they were able to do to us this season?
Yeah, you said it. Both of those guys, very versatile, really good in coverage, and then they can both blitz really well. So, whether they're both up on the line of scrimmage, one blitzes and one drops, you don't know who's coming, you don't know who's not, and they're both really adept at both. So that makes it easier for us to, we're not so one-dimensional, and then you got Frankie who can do the same thing too. So, just the versatility of them and them be able to line up in different spots. And they're both, all of those guys are great communicators too. They're all really smart. So, I think it just kind of makes it keeps your options open there.
Take 3 more.
As excited as you seem to be about him, he seemed just as excited on the phone that this was his choice. When you have a guy like that, I don't know if that was obvious when you met with him or when he was here visiting, that this was a place he wanted to be. But when you have something like that, does that make you want to play her even more?
It certainly helps. I think, just getting a chance to sit down and talk to him and understanding, like, he's really driven and he's really, has, like, the desire to be great. And he wants to be great for us, and you could feel that. A lot of guys try to sell themselves, and rightfully so. It's a job interview, so that's part of it. But his was genuine, his was real. He wasn't trying, and he was very comfortable in what he said. And so it makes you really confident that he's going to do everything he can to be great and be great for us.
Adam, I know you obviously still have 2 days left in the draft, but you made a ton of additions on the defensive side of the ball through free agency and adding Sonny, obviously. How would you kind of assess the improvements that you made at all 3 levels on defense so far?
I think it goes back to kind of what we wanted to do, just get younger and faster, and I think we've done that. But we've added a lot of guys that we would call commanders, and so I think that'll never be. That'll never be something that we don't do. Like, that'll always be at the forefront of all of our decision making. And so, getting those guys, and they've been in all week. And I wish I had been more present with the team this week. I was not very present this week. Holed up in my office a little bit, and but can't wait to hang out with those guys next week. But just the little bit that I did get a chance to go down to lunch and walk around the building, and these guys are all bought in. The new guys that they're bought in. They're going to dinner together. They're staying late. They really want to. These guys really want to be great, and they really want to learn the new defense. Durante, I talked to a bunch of them, and Durante has just blown them away. Just the way he presents in his teaching, and so they're really excited to learn the new defense. And so we got new guys they're hungry. They're hungry to prove themselves and hungry to learn. And so it's been really exciting to see.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.